not that big a deal, but still, it's good to close above 10 at the end of the week for sure. It's not that big a deal, but even still, it's a good sign going into the weekend. But then I think, what the hell? What? And I beep boop 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 boop. That's all I was doing all last night. My daughter was like, "Dada, you gotta slow down here with these beep boop 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 beep." Like I said, there's a case for the short thesis, right? It's not gone or anything like that. It's just, I don't understand this level of conviction in the short thesis. The 136%, and it just keeps on going up. And this is after Ryan Cohen filed. I mean, and the market had a little bit of time to digest. This is as of September 14th, which is backward looking, right? But, I mean, September 14th, so they have this many shares short. And so the increased volatility, we're seeing a ton of volatility, right? And as some people, people have been talking about this too. You expect there's going to be significantly more volume because there's effectively, there's over 100 million shares being traded when you include the longs that have bought those shorted shares, right? So there's a ton, but like, I don't understand. The most important question is whether or not the shorts, supposing GameStop doesn't go to zero, especially in the near-term future, right? This short interest needs to be unwound. It needs to be unwound, not necessarily overnight or in 1 week's time or so forth, but you expect it needs to be unwound. So the question is, over what time frame is that going to happen, and can it happen in an orderly fashion? I see some other people asking that question too, like, can this happen? Can this happen cleanly? The only way that if it were to happen and it was disorderly and it's going to cause a bit of a squeeze and so forth, right, then you'd have to think, like I said, there's going to be an announcement of a whole bunch of news at the same time or anything like that. And I don't know. I just think if you're the longs, like I keep saying, what bad news is going to come? So even if there's that thesis, the short thesis that that secular risk, blah 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 blah, what the hell could happen in the interim? What could happen in the interim? And here's the thing, is like I'm a fundamentals oriented value investor, whatever you want to say, but in GameStop is undeniably cheap on that basis, right? Forget the whole short squeeze and all that stuff, right? It's already cheap. It has been cheap. It's a little bit less cheap now because it's more than doubled since those first couple of videos I uploaded, but it's still cheap. It was like crazy cheap. It was ridiculously cheap. So it's still cheap on the valuation side of things. Then this chart. Look at this chart. Look at this. And now it's even more overbought now on the weekly. It keeps on going up. It was down. It was down 10% twice this week, wasn't it? It was down 10% twice this week. So incredible volatility, right? That's to be expected just because it's a risky stock, right? Trades below cash. You're going to have volatility with those types of stocks anyway. Deep value, blah, blah, blah. But at inflection points too, as it's turning, people are trying to boom, boom, boom. What's happening? And but look at this. I mean, it keeps on. It was able to still end the week up quite a bit. When did it close last week? Oh, 977. So not quite a bit, but despite I think it was 10% down days. I don't know. I forget, but it still closed at 10. So it's like it keeps unfolding. And what do we have this week? We had the Ryan Cohen news, the update on that front. But yeah, so it looks good on the value, on the fundamental side of things. It looks good on the technical side of things. And then there's the other one, the psychology, right? The psychology, the sentiment, all that type of stuff. And this is a big part of my thesis, and I'm sure a lot of people's thesis as well. Just the sentiment around gaming generally as you go into the new consoles, you'd expect it to shift a bit. And it would have a significant impact on a very cheap stock like GameStop because of that. And I think that sentiment shift has begun this month. I don't believe it's done. I posted a tweet a couple of days ago. Like, look at that. Like if you pull down the daily, if you're in people say the short squeeze began and all this stuff, you don't have these drop downs. Like, this isn't that frothy for that. Like, everyone's piling in, right? It may never happen, but if it is going to happen, I don't think it's happened yet. I think we're in the early stages of it happening, if at all, right? If it's going to happen, I think we're in the early stages. And so that one's unfolding. I think as we get closer, people will only get more bullish about it. I don't think they're going to get more negative about it. I see some people talking about GameStop. I know people were upset. Maybe they weren't able to secure a console. I saw pre-orders kicked off again, so some people might be upset. But you're not going to have major negative news that are going to cause people to view this stock in a negative light. I mean, you might have some. It's going to go up and down all over the place and all that stuff. But like major, like trade back below $4 by the end of the year, like $5. Maybe if the whole market is tanking or something like that, sure, that's conceivable. It's not like these things are impossible. But as the story's unfolding, it's looking up. And so We'll see what happens with sentiment. It may never get crazy. People may never totally pile on and get super bullish, right? It may not happen, but this is the time. If it's going to happen, this is it. It's likely going to happen in these next couple of months. The quarter's almost over. What is it? End of September here, and the consoles come November. But we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Remember, it kind of happened during the past console cycle too, and but this is different. It's a different type of an environment these days. So we'll see. But man, that's short interest, huh? And so what did I say? And I forget what I said. I was saying like there's, so, I mean, we're joking about the robots, right? We have no idea, right? It's the blind leading the blind. Blind leading the blind. I have no idea. I keep on saying the robots because I can't imagine a human on the other side of this trade. But if there are humans on the other side of the trade, and it's not just algorithms going beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop. If there are humans there, then you'd have to think that maybe it's probably grounded in what I was saying. It's grounded in a fundamental bear thesis, and that they're betting against GameStop successfully turning themselves around down the line, and that the business model it will no longer be relevant looking out a couple of years, right? So remember, there's a base there, right? It's not totally crazy to say that. So if it's grounded in that, and then at this point, because like I just said, everything's kind of unfolding in favor of the bulls. What choice do you have? But you got to go ham. You're like, let's do it. We're short. And like I've been saying, I think the cat's already out of the bag. I think the cat's already out of the bag. I think once it broke out above here, and then you get the Ryan Cohen news on top of that, and then at the same time we're getting all the pre-orders kicking off. Like I think short as much as you want. This could go up significantly higher as they try to just keep on shorting. I'm just if there are humans on the side trying to think through this, they're like, we better keep on shorting it. We better keep on shorting it to try to contain this price as much as we can. And look at this. Despite that crazy short interest, look at the chart. Boom, 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 boom. Short all you want. This is what I mean. No victory laps yet. I'm not saying that, but I mean this trend is looking like really good, such that. The technical analysts hopefully it's already getting on people's radar, right? All these 52-week highs and yada yada. But the momentum folks, right? Momentum folks start piling on this shit. Look at this. And so you can at least understand why maybe they do succeed, maybe they don't succeed. I lean toward them not succeeding, but we'll see. So you know what I mean? You short the hell out of it. Keep on short and boom, 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 boom. Do your best. Try to contain it once again. And I could imagine it persisting for a while. This is crazy short interest. Remember, it's been so heavy. It's been so heavy for 12 months. We shouldn't think it's crazy that it could persist for another 3 months. But I think everything, those other items, I think it's going to be too heavy on the bull side of things for a change. Cheers to that, huh? Cheers to potentially change sentiment. Who? I can't even believe I'm saying that, but it kind of seems like that's the case, right? And I know people were any after-hours filings today. Probably not, right? Let's see. Okay, nothing. So that's what I mean. So people seeing all that volume, just remember when you see all that incredible volume, just remember there's over 100 million shares that are, it's just they're getting traded all over the place, right? That is probably many times the same shares being traded back and forth, and it's not necessarily someone taking a position. Someone still might. I have no idea. But there's a solid enough thesis where everything above this is gravy. If someone wants to take another 5% position, besides Cohen could, if Cohen were to trim, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he were to trim, sure, that's something that we were talking about that during the stream. But anything else, it's like everything else is going to be positive, right? Right? In the quarterly earnings, they already warned about. They were already like, yeah, this could be a little bit of headwinds this quarter. But then you're already in Q4, and the consoles will already be released by the time they're announcing that. So it may be a moot point. We'll see. But and something to remember, we joke about this $10 price point, right? Market cap. 652 is that market cap. And I remember in one of my videos, I think it was the second video, I felt as though the legacy business model was worth at least $500 million, and I thought it could be worth up to $1.5 billion. Although if they they reinvent this legacy business model where it's more omni-channel focused and stuff, I could see it be even more than that. Now that it has a little bit more it has a little bit more substance to it now, these past couple months since I uploaded those videos. So I can actually see the legacy business even being worth more than that. But I don't care. Whatever. It could be worth quite a bit more. But importantly, the downside. I think the downside. I still think on the downside I thought it's probably on the low side, maybe 500 million. On the super downside, I remember thinking it can't be worth less than 250. I thought that would have been highly unlikely. Possible, but highly unlikely. So now we're at 652, just above that $500 million range. I think there remains potentially quite a bit of upside, and because of the new consoles and everything like that, and sentiment changing So it could be quickly. I think that it could be revalued quickly. Just a theory. Just a test. Everything's just a test. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I don't know. But let's see. Was there anything else?